Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor, and I am your host, and I am not God, obviously. I am not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. Today is the last day to get our new merch. Use code HOTPOD, HOTPOD, to get your hot bod in the hot pod merch. I'm really going to miss saying that. But really, I hope you get the shirt that you want. I hope you get your friend the shirt that she wants. I hope everybody gets what they want in life. That's really what I want. Today, I've been sitting on this for a while. So dramatic. Like I have some big bomb to drop. The thing that I feel the deepest in my soul, and I think that I've been scared for some reason to say out loud, but I'm ready. I feel ready to say it, is that I want you to join us. And I always say I don't have an agenda, and my only agenda is to help you be more of yourself. I think it feels scary to say this because it reveals something that is really, really actually vulnerable to me. And most of what I share doesn't feel vulnerable because I can anticipate people's reactions. I can anticipate how it will feel for me to share it. So there's not like a lot of unknown in most of what I share, or I'm rehearsed and practiced at it, or I'm healed and developed enough in what I'm saying that people's feedback doesn't matter. Like, to be very honest, I get put in a vulnerable box often, but much of what I do does not feel vulnerable to me. But I think this one does still. And I think at the core of what I believe and what I'm doing any of this for, the podcast, the book, the platform, the talking, I want you to know that there is a place in faith for you if you want it. And I want you to know that if you want a relationship with divinity and with God, it's possible, no matter what. And the reason that I think this feels emotional and vulnerable for me is that there's been so many times in my life when I haven't really been the thing that people want me to be. I think this is probably the root of why I'm so afraid of disappointing people, is that I have disappointed people quite a bit just by existing as myself. And I learned from a very young age what it felt like to disappoint and even betray the people you love most in order to not betray yourself. And it's not fun. And I know that the narrative of like being yourself and don't betray yourself and living out loud and like it's all sold online as this like empowering narrative of being yourself and being who you are and you don't care how it's received. It's all served with a very empowering, fun headline. But the reality of living that way is often lonely, and it's often confusing, isolating, and difficult. And it comes with a lot of resistance and heartbreak. And this all sounds very dramatic because I'm like a cis white woman living in our culture, but just in a lot of ways, in the way that I grew up and the spaces still that I'm trying to play in, don't always fit the mold. And sometimes when I'm reminded of that, it hurts. And the thing is, I have this rebellious spirit that I believe was given to me by God. And I didn't always feel that way. I thought that it was something that I needed to overcome and something that I needed to learn how to manage. And that has been true because I do think that it's important to be respectful and aware and all of these things that sometimes a rebellious spirit can dismiss. But it just keeps coming back to feeling like, oh, here I go again, of not fitting in the box and not agreeing and not being able to force myself to comply with things that are being asked of me. I'm not trying to be cryptic, by the way. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. But now I see a little more that this rebellious energy that I now believe was given to me on purpose wasn't to burn anything down or to run away and live in darkness and choose crazy things. but instead was to have the courage to pave a way through faith for people who don't fit. And I know we talked early on in this podcast about faith being the rebellion and the joy being the new rebellion. And that is what I believe. I believe that choosing to believe is rebellious. I believe that choosing faith is rebellious. I believe that finding and creating joy in our world is rebellious. It's the harder path. It's the scarier path. And it's becoming the increasingly unpopular path. But I believe so many of you, like me, were given a soul of rebellion so that we would be able to blaze this new trail and to pave this new path to faith and joy and hope and believing in a time where it's unpopular and difficult. And so what I'm asking you is, will you join the rebellion? Will you join me in being more than a listener of this podcast and a consumer of the content? But will you actually join forces with me to create more joy, to prioritize service and giving, to fight to believe, to fight to find hope? Will you intentionally choose this path and join me on it? Can we create this together? And it's sounding so cheesy, and I understand, I hear it. But so many people I meet and talk to abandon faith not out of desire, but out of forced necessity. They didn't fit the black and white boxes that they were handed, and they just assumed if I can't fit in there, then I'm out. And I need help throwing away those boxes and building a new path back to faith and God and belief and hope and joy for all of those of us who maybe didn't fit the molds, don't fit in the black and white, but instead are growing the gray. I have a gray shirt on. Perfect. I'm inviting you now to join the rebellion. I'm inviting you now to help me create this movement. And I'm begging you to give it a chance. If you have been excluded, if you have been told that you don't belong in faith, or that you don't believe the right way, or that you're wrong, or you're broken, or not good enough, or all of these things that we actually have been told in so many ways. The whole "you are enough" self-help world was born from a generation of us actually experiencing not being allowed in certain spaces of faith. I think I've hesitated to ever talk about it in these terms because it feels dramatic, it feels a little silly, it feels a little cheesy, and it feels a little unimportant by comparison of let's be very clear, I am not claiming that I have ever been discriminated against or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. We need to clear that up. That is not what I'm trying to say. But in the world of faith and God and spirituality, I have been consistently told that I am not right and that I don't fit and that I actually can't be here. And if that's been your experience too, I want to invite you on a new path to a new place, doing a new thing. And I want you to trust me and believe me that there is space for you in faith. And that all of us together can shift the narrative of negativity and burning things down and criticism and harshness and dehumanization. And that's why this stuff matters, because it's easy for me to be like, you're being dramatic. None of this matters. This is actually what matters, because I do believe that us choosing faith, joy, hope, I believe that's how we change the world. I believe that's how we fix things. I believe that it starts here. And so this isn't about me wanting to feel more included and safe and comfortable in my own skin. This is about actually changing cultural norms with faith, hope, and joy. Because we cannot go on if we don't have those things. We won't have the capacity. It's not sustainable. It's not actually possible. Our spirits will die before we're able to do the work. We have to keep our spirits alive. I think there's a different way to do things than how they're being done. And I'm just a girl sitting in front of a microphone hoping God is real, so I can't do it by myself. Will you join me in the new rebellion? Joy is the new rebellion. Faith is the new rebellion. I need you. There is a place for you here. God has you. He knows you. He loves you. I actually do believe that. Checking in. Yeah, I do. I do believe that. So things got really dramatic here for a minute. I've pulled it together. Jeez. Thanks for coming on that journey. Thanks for letting me through it. But I am dead serious. Join the rebellion. Love you. Bye.